With Papa Dustin gone, all of his fans were totally upset, and they were totally and definitely sad, until some random teenage renegade and all of her insane friends came to save the day.
The hell? You can kiss my ass!
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. I am your boy, Papa Dustin, and guess what? I got a rant. Welcome back from that intro, everybody. It is your boy, Papa frickin' Dustin, after a 1-year hiatus, ready to get back into some YouTube videos. But before we get started today, sit on your asses, kick your feet up, crack a cold one open. It's about to get juicy. Now first off, before I get into this video, I want to address the massive pink elephant in the room. Why have I been gone for so long? Well, there are 3 main reasons. 1, big colossal world event and toilet paper shortages hit everybody like a freight train. Okay? And since I'm a retail worker and apparently essential, I had to be a part of the fray. But hey, I'm not complaining, I was getting paid during the whole thing. Second off, just a lack of motivation. I don't know, I guess I just had sort of writer's block, didn't really know what kind of videos to put out and make. And third and final reason, I'm lazy. But with enough interruptions now, let's get into today's rant video. So pray tell, what am I ranting about today? Well, obviously by the title you can already tell I'm going to be ranting about one of my favorite Disney Plus shows, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But Dustin, why are you ranting about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Did you not like the TV show? And to answer that question, I loved it. I thought it was great. Me and my mom would sit down and watch it crazy enough because apparently she liked it, and heck, I even had friends at work who watched it. But was it really that good? And could it have been better? Well, I'm going to get into that right now. So as far as the show goes, I thought it was really good. There were a lot of things I liked about the show, some things I really didn't like, and a lot of those things I'm probably going to get into today in this rant video. But before I get into the whole rant, I just want to say that there are going to be massive spoilers for this TV show. If you have not seen it yet, click off of this video right now if you don't want it to be spoiled. But if you don't care about that, if you've already seen it, well, let's dive in. So, before I get into what I didn't like about the show, let me tell you all the things that I loved about the TV show. And there were quite a few things, but I've narrowed it down. The first thing I loved was the inclusion of Isaiah Bradley. The way they executed his story on the screen was just amazing. And on top of that, he's played by the freaking great Carl Lumbly. You know, the same guy who plays in Dr. Sleep with Ewan McGregor. He was Ali in South Central. He even plays in Mantis. I mean, come on. And he even voiced Martian Manhunter for DC Comics. I mean, come on. The dude is practically a really good actor, and he knocked it out of the park with this role. And on top of that, it introduced Eli Bradley, his grandson. So this could be a potential MCU candidate for the Young Avengers movie. Now, I don't know if I'll ever watch that movie. I'm not a big fan of the Young Avengers, but hey, the possibilities are there. Second thing I loved about this movie was freaking Wyatt Russell and his execution of U.S. Agent. I mean, come on, let's be real here. Wyatt Russell did such a good job playing U.S. Agent. He captured that perfect amount of arrogance with that instability and willing to do anything to get his goals, while also being kind of an anti-hero throughout all of it. Regardless, Wyatt Russell's performance was award-worthy. It was amazing, and as a guy who appreciates acting, I loved every minute of it. Wyatt Russell, I commend you. And the third thing that I really liked about this TV show was Zemo. I mean, come on, he had his seriousness, he had his motivations, but I mean, the dude was just a total meme throughout the entire thing, basically kicking his feet up and walking all over Bucky and Sam, playing right into his hand, up until the point he got taken away by the Wakandans. Now that I've gotten over the few things that I liked about the TV show, let's get into the things I didn't like about it. Now, first off, this isn't really a major gripe, but it's one thing. Good old Bucky getting his ass handed to him half the damn time. Now, I already know there are going to be some people out here who are going to be like, oh my gosh, Bucky was just holding back because he doesn't want to kill anybody. First off, I have an answer to that. But second off, even if that is the case, dude, you are a military trained soldier. You know, literally like just 3 or 4 movies ago, you were literally fighting your best friend Steve frickin' Rogers, who's arguably one of the best hand-to-hand combatants on the entire frickin' planet. And on top of that, you almost killed Black Widow and half of the Avengers, and you were holding your own against Iron Man in Civil War. I mean, sure, you're not full-on Winter Soldier mode anymore, but I mean, come on, you have to have some knowledge of your past, right? And before that, you were literally a trained sniper. Now, I already know some people are going to make the argument that he was fighting against super soldiers like him, so of course he's going to struggle. And you know what I have to say to that? Dude, you took on Steve frickin' Rogers. And in Civil War, you took on a whole Iron Man suit. And was damn near ripping out his arc reactor. I mean, come on. And on top of that, that was with your old arm. Now you got a stronger vibranium arm. I mean, you should be one-shotting these guys. Now, I already know some people are going to bring up that bar fight in, like, Episode 3 when they were in Madripoor, and I get that, but here's the thing. These guys are common street thugs. I expect Bucky, a super soldier, to literally stomp them. Now, I get it, the Flag Smashers are super soldiers, but I mean, what's the difference between those guys and the normal guys in the bar? Sure, they're super powered, but I mean, they don't have any skills nor the combat training to the extent of Bucky or even U.S. Agent. I mean, why is Carly Morgenthau kicking U.S. Agent's ass when she's nothing but a teenager throwing a tantrum and he's a whole trained U.S. military agent? Heck, before he even got the serum, he was kicking their asses, and on top of that, Falcon's sitting over here kicking their asses with some metal wings. But all of a sudden, Bucky is struggling? I just don't believe that. And oh, let me get into Carly Morgenthau, why don't we? Now, call me crazy, but I think Carly Morgenthau is the worst villain in the MCU. There's nothing that you could tell me that will make me think otherwise. Now, I haven't watched WandaVision or even Loki because I'm just not big fans of their characters, but I probably will watch them at some point and give you my 2 cents on it. However, Carly Morgenthau, in my opinion, is one of the most bland, boring villains, and on top of that, they tried to make her freaking sympathetic. It just made me want her to die even more. Now, I know that's maybe messed up to say, and I don't blame the actress. What's her name? Erin Kellyman. Now, I haven't seen much of her work. I know she did some Star Wars movies, but I can't really blame the actress on this. The character was just poorly executed. Now, I get it. True to the source material, the Flag Smasher character was never really a memorable villain, to be honest. I mean, he was just some dude in a really generic-looking costume calling himself the Flag Smasher, and he was a Captain America villain. He was a D-tier villain at best, and was really, really forgettable, and had nothing really special about him. So I get what they were trying to do with the whole organization, and Carly Morgenthau, excuse me, I just burped. But I just feel like they still poorly executed it. It was a neat idea, just poorly done. And that leads me to my last point with the Flag Smashers. I mean, come on, y'all. You're really gonna think life is better when half of the planet is dead. Now look, call me crazy, and I mean, call me crazy, like call me insane. But that is a terrible motivation. Now I get it, there's those people out here who want to say Thanos wasn't wrong. He was totally wrong. If you have a gauntlet that can do anything, why don't you make unlimited resources and then literally we'd all be good. Instead of just killing off half of everything. But that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother day. Now, I don't know all the ramifications of a world where the blip happened and half of life just disappeared for 5 years, but I already know it wouldn't be good. If a massive world event took place like that, no one is banding together in brotherhood. If we've seen in the past year, people get pissed off and fight over toilet paper and the last thing of Pringles on the damn shelf. What makes you think in a world event like that anyone is going to be banding together in brotherhood? If anything, all hell is going to break loose. Small countries with less funded militaries are going to be cut in half, meaning that bigger territories with more powerful militaries, even though they're going to be cut in half, are still going to be much larger. Wars will happen, territories will be taken over, and a bunch of people are going to be hogging up the resources we do have. Because we're just a selfish planet, let's be real here. So the fact that they think it's going to be so much better during the time when half of the planet is dead is just stupid motivation to me. And to continue, let's just look at it from the government's perspective here. Now, I just want to clarify and say I'm not a guy who piggybacks off governments anyway. I mean, hey, you do what you want to do, and I really don't get into politics or any sort of government issues like that, because obviously I'm just a normal guy and have really no 2 cents on it. But let's look at it from their perspective. You're a world leader. Half of your country is dead, just out of nowhere. Okay? You stayed there for 5 years trying to get everybody wrangled back in, trying to get together so we can try to have some normalcy to this. And then all of a sudden, all 4 billion of those people who died, because there's about 8 billion people on the planet, just come back. And now they have to readjust from those readjustments. That just sounds painful for them. And that would be painful for anybody. You got people living in your houses. If your houses haven't been burned down because of all the rioting that would be happening, or the wars that would be happening, I mean, just imagine how drastically the world would have changed in that amount of time. And you're going to think it's better because people are going to abandon brotherhood? No, that's not how it works. And the last point that I want to get into, the me that could have made this show better, Bucky should have been Captain America. There, I said it.
That can't be true!
Now, why do I think Bucky should have been Cap? Now, before anyone ats me or goes off in the comments, but I already see you typing down there, I didn't mind Falcon becoming Captain America. And on top of that, his costume was the most comic accurate thing I've ever seen in an MCU movie, and I loved it. Okay? The vibranium wings, the shield throws, and the training, it was amazing. And I loved the fact that he was Captain America. But to me, I feel story-wise, it would have made more sense for Bucky. Now look, I'm a stickler for comic accuracy, and I get it, the MCU is supposed to take place in a different timeline than the main 616 timeline in the comics, so, you know, I get that. But to me, I feel like Bucky had a little bit more motivation than Sam did. Now, I think Steve did trust Sam with the shield because he saw how worthy Sam was of holding the mantle. But I feel like Bucky definitely did have a lot more to offer here, not just for America, but for himself. Bucky, this entire show, is trying to make amends because he's having night terrors about the Winter Soldier. And why wouldn't he? I mean, if you spent 70 to 90 years of your life being a pawn for some evil organization that you and your best friend tried so hard to stop, wouldn't you go crazy? I know I would. But Bucky's sitting here trying to make amends with all the people whom he wronged as the Winter Soldier, which is understandable. But to me, I feel like the story would have been so much better had Bucky wanted to take up the shield and not Sam. Now, follow me what I'm saying here. This would have given Bucky the perfect motivation to not only try to make amends, but really to try and trust and forgive himself for his crimes. Bucky is basically untrusted by the US government and by its people because of the past he has. So I think becoming Captain America would prove to the entire world that he's no longer the Winter Soldier, but that he is the new Captain America, and he's willing to stand for the liberty that him and Steve tried so hard to fight for back in World War II. I mean, just think about it. This is kind of how the story in my head kind of plays. Bucky goes, he wants to take up the shield because Steve wants him to. The government says no because of your shaky past. Boom, US agent gets inserted. Bucky is obviously mad because of everything the shield stood for, and knowing Wyatt Russell's character, US agent, is just not the guy for the job. But he has to bite the bullet and sit here and accept it because the US government will never accept it, and on top of that, he can never accept it himself because he doesn't feel worthy. Sam obviously tries to pep talk him, and the Flag Smashers are off running havoc, I guess. But to me, the story isn't even about the Flag Smashers, nor is it about the Power Broker and Madripoor. It's all about what Bucky is trying to stand for this country and for himself. Bucky wants to be what Steve was, because Steve knows deep down Bucky is still that kid that sat there and defended him when people were whooping his ass in the alleys. But Bucky can't see himself that way anymore because every time he looks in the mirror, he sees the Winter Soldier. If Bucky were to take up that mantle, he would no longer see himself as the Winter Soldier. He's seeing what that shield and its legacy has meant to him because it's the only family he has left. And seeing it be disrespected like that kills him. So he takes up the mantle, fights US Agent off, and takes the shield. To me, that just would have been an amazing story, and to me it's just a lot more interesting than Sam's. I'm sorry. It's not that Sam didn't have a bad story. I loved the story of Sam becoming Captain America and overcoming the adversity, but I just feel like Bucky had more of a story and a connection to the shield than Sam ever will. And that's just my 2 cents on it. Regardless, the TV show was pretty good. It had really shitty villains. really shitty motivations, and on top of that, people are loving Sharon Carter being the power broker. And while it does bring interest to her character, I don't know. We'll have to see what the future says on that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm glad to be back on YouTube. Expect some more rant videos and some more sketch videos from me. Anyways, like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Give me your comments on what you feel about the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. And I'll see you all in the next one. Until we meet again, guys, God bless.